session, we will discuss about the next topic in flowering plants, that is semi-technical description of a family, right? Typical flowering plant. Let's go with 5.8 in NCERT. What is it? It is semi-technical description of semi-technical description of a typical flowering plant. How can we give the information in a technical manner about a flowering plant or about a family we are going to discuss in today's session. Now, flowering plant means angiosperm. If we have to define a family or a plant, then what are the characters we look into are the morphological features. Means various morphological features are used to describe a flowering plant. What are the morphological features? Which type of root it has, which type of stem it has, which type of leaf it has, all these, and flower also, right? All these are the morphological features. Then we need to describe the root system, shoot system, leaves. In brief, we have to represent. In simple manner, we have to represent. Using scientific language, we have to represent. Following a proper sequence, we have to represent. All that comes under semi-technical description. We will see what is the criteria, how to do it, and then we will take some families and we will follow the criteria and we will try to understand. So, semi-technical description means various morphological features. We can write that various morphological. If you see the various morphological features of the plant, they are root, stem, leaf, flower, are used to describe. Various morphological features are used to describe a flowering plant. How can you describe a flowering plant? By you looking at its morphology. Then, what are the things we need to take into consideration? What are the things we need to take into consideration means we have to describe it in brief, in simple and scientific language, and we have to present it in a proper order. So, description, how we have to give the description? Description should be short or it should be small, means it should be brief, it should be simple, and it should follow scientific language, not the local language. It should follow scientific language and should be presented in a scientific manner and should be presented in proper sequence. Means, what do you mean by proper sequence? First, we will start like what is the habit of that family. Then we will tell like what are the vegetative characters like root, stem and leaf. Then we will come to the floral characters, which type of inflorescence it has, which type of flower it has, unisexual, bisexual, what is the symmetry of the flower, which type of calyx, which type of corolla, androecium, gynoecium, and then the economic importance of that particular family, then floral diagram and floral formula. In this sequence we follow. So the description starts with a semi-technical description of the flowering plant. It starts with, we can tell that the description starts with, I told you, what does it start with? It starts with the first point, its habit. Whether it's a herb or shrub or tree, that is called habit. Followed by its vegetative characters. What do you mean by vegetative characters? What will come under vegetative characters? Under vegetative characters, root will come, stem will come, and leaf also will come. So, we are going to tell which type of root system, which type of stems and which type of leaves, followed by floral characters. The next description will be this order, this proper sequence we have to present. Floral characters. So, under floral characters, we will tell what inflorescence it is having, which type of flower it is having, and what are the floral parts. Means, we have to tell about the calyx, we have to talk about the corolla, we have to talk about androecium followed by the female one, gynoecium. All these things we are going to represent in which form? In the floral character. Then we'll draw the floral diagram also and scientific language of floral formula also. After that, followed by floral diagram we need to draw. So we will see how to draw a floral diagram also in today's session, followed by scientific language of floral formula. So in this sequence we go. Economic importance also we can tell. So in this sequence we have to describe about a typical flowering plant. Now we will see what is floral diagram and what is floral formula. Then we will take up a family in NCERT, they have given Brassicaceae. We will take a Brassicaceae family to understand what is floral diagram, what is floral formula, how to represent the characters. Okay. So you understood. So today's our topic is semi-technical description about a typical flowering plant. Typical flowering plant means angiosperm. How will you describe it? So we will describe it the morphological features. So morphological features, how do you describe it? In a small manner, in a simple manner, in a brief manner, using the scientific terms, in a proper sequence. What is the sequence? Tell what is the habitat, herba, shrubba, trina. Then talk about the vegetative characters, which type of root, stem and leaf. Then talk about the floral characters, which type of inflorescence, which type of flower, and it's a bisexual having calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, all those things. Coming to floral formula, we will see now, and floral diagram. We will go now with how to represent a floral formula for a plant. We will see that now. In floral formula, children, we are going to use some symbols because it should be simple and brief. It should not be elaborate. So then we are going to use some floral symbols. Let us see. What is floral formula? It is the symbolic representation of the essential facts of the flower. So what is floral formula? It is symbolic representation about the essential facts of the flower, about the essential facts of a flower. It is a symbolic representation of the essential facts of the flower. That means we have to use some symbols here, and we will see the symbols, then we will see in which proper sequence we have to write a floral formula. Now what are the symbols which we are going to use? We know that if this is a flower, here is a node, from the node the leaf will come, and from the axillary bud the flower will arise, then that's called axillary bud. At this is called leaf base. At the leaf base it has bracts. At the leaf base it has bracts. So this is called bract. On the stalk, on the pedicel, at the base of the pedicel it has bract. Now if the flower is having bract, then we have to use a symbol called BR. BR is a symbol used for bracteate flower. It is a bracteate flower. Now suppose if these two bracts are absent, then we call it as ebracteate flower. Then the symbol goes is EBR. EBR means it is ebracteate. Ebracteate flower means bract is absent. Ebracteate means bract is absent. Then above the bract, here it has bracteoles also. This is a flower. Here it has bracteoles also. What are these called? Bracteoles. If the flower is having bracteoles, then the symbol we use is BRL. BRL symbolizes bracteole. Okay, it symbolizes bracteole. Now, if bracteole is not there, the same thing EBRL. EBRL means it's ebracteolate flower. It is ebracteolate flower means these bracteoles, if they are absent, EBRL. If they are present, here they are present. That means you have to use EBR. Sorry, you have to use BRL. So what symbol we have to use if bracteoles are there? BRL. What symbol we have to use if bract is there? BR symbol we have to use, right? Then, so we understood what symbols we are giving for bract and bracteoles. Now, if the flower is having radial symmetry is actinomorphic symmetry. Then what symbol we go? For actinomorphic symmetry, any plane passing through the center, if it divides the flowers into two equal parts, that is called actinomorphic or radial symmetry. Any plane, this plane or this plane. So we use a symbol like this. A cross within a circle. A cross within a circle symbolizes radial symmetry or actinomorphic. What is bilateral symmetry? Only one plane passing through the center. If it gives two equal parts, that is bilateral symmetry. For bilateral symmetry, what symbol we use for zygomorphic? It is this only, one plane only. This symbol we use, percentage symbol we use for zygomorphic symmetry. Percentage symbol we use for zygomorphic symmetry. Then sexuality of the flower, whether it is unisexual male flower or unisexual female flower or it is bisexual flower. If it is unisexual male flower, what symbol we use? So we use this symbol, usually this is male, right? So this represents unisexual male flower. This symbol represents unisexual male flower, whereas this symbol represents unisexual female flower. This symbol represents unisexual female flower. Now, if the flower is bisexual, keep both of them together. So this symbol symbolizes it is a bisexual flower. So keeping both the symbols together will symbolize the bisexual flower. Okay. So then comes the floral whorls, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. For calyx, K, pronunciation comes with K. So K alphabet symbol we use to represent the calyx members. Corolla, C symbol we use to represent corolla. Sometimes in lily, there is no discrimination between calyx and corolla. Calyx and corolla are fused to make perianth. So tepal. So for perianth, we go with P only. So I'll write this side, the other parts of the floral symbols. For perianth, what symbol are we using? So P symbol we use for perianth. What do you mean by perianth? There is no distinction between calyx and corolla, then we use perianth. Then calyx, corolla, the third oral is androecium, male reproductive. For male, we go with A. A represents androecium. Similarly, G represents gynoecium. G represents gynoecium. Now, superior ovary is there, inferior ovary is there, and half superior, half inferior is there. What symbols we are going to use? For superior, so first for superior, so we have to, G is sitting on the top, then thalamus is at the bottom. So this symbol, G underline symbol we use for superior ovary. So this is used for superior ovary. Inferior ovary, G is at the bottom. So then we will keep G on the bottom and use a line on the top. This symbol is used for inferior ovary. Half superior, half inferior, neither at the bottom nor on the top. Then we'll use a line beside. So this line is used to denote half superior or half inferior flower. So this symbol we use. Usually in which sequence we go means first we will tell it is having bract or not. So we will tell BR or EBR. We will tell bracteole is there or not, EBR or EBRL. Then we go with the symmetry, plus symbol or percentage symbol. Then we will go with the sexuality, either this or this symbol. Then we will write calyx, how many are there? Then we give the numbers. If 4 are there, C4, corolla 4 are there, 4, K4, androecium 4 or 8 are there, 8, like that we tell. So numbers we will tell 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, infinity. So when do we use these numbers? To represent the number of members in each whorl. So number of members in each whorl. We use numbers. Now, if the calyx are there, if 4 sepals are there, all the 4 sepals are fused, means they are showing cohesion. They are fused, they are showing cohesion. Then we use, if 4 are there, calyx, 4 are there and 4 are fused, then we keep it inside the bracket. Okay. So fusion among the same members is shown in bracket. The number within the bracket. The number within the bracket denotes, what does it denotes? It denotes fusion. Fusion among themselves. The sepals are fusing among themselves, that's why 4 is under bracket, among themselves. Now, what is adhesion? Adhesion means if it is fusing with the members of the other whorl, like stamens are fusing with petals, stamens are fusing with perianth, that is adhesion. Suppose, for example, if androecium is fusing with corolla addition if it is showing. So these members are fusing with this. Then we use a line on the top. So line on top indicates or it denotes adhesion. Line on the top denotes adhesion. Okay. If two carpels are there, bicarpal is syncarpus, 2 in bracket we tell. So children, all these are the symbols which we are going to use while writing a floral formula. What are the symbols? Bract is there, BR. Bract not there, EBR. Bracteole is there, BRL. Bracteole is not there, EBRL. If it is a radial symmetry, cross within a circle. If it is zygomorphic, one plane symmetry, percentage. This symbol for staminate flowers. This symbol for pistillate flowers. This symbol for hermaphrodite, bisexual flowers. K to represent calyx members. C for corolla. P if there is no discrimination between sepals and petals. In lily, it is perianth. We use word P. For androecium, to represent stamens, we use A. For gynoecium, we represent G. If the position of the gynoecium is superior, hypogynous, then G is underlined. On top of G, if we write a line, then it is inferior. Beside G, if we write a line, half superior and half inferior. Number of members in each whorl. So K how many, C how many, A how many, G how many. We will write the numbers, number of members in each whorl. Now if you keep that number in bracket, it indicates fused condition, fusion among themselves. If it is fusing with the members of the other whorl, then we use a line on the top. So all these are the symbols what we use in floral formula. Now what the floral formula will give us the information. So I'll write it here. What information we'll get from the floral formula? So you are coming to know about the symmetry, right? So we'll come to know about the symmetry. We'll come to know about the sexuality also, because these symbols will be there in the floral formula. We'll come to know about the sexuality also. We will come to know about the number of members in each whorl. We'll come to know about the number of members in each whorl. That also will come to know. We can also tell cohesion or adhesion. So we can also get the information about cohesion and adhesion. So we can also tell about cohesion and adhesion here. So various floral parts we can tell, their sexuality we can tell, and their position, gynoecium position also we can tell. So position of gynoecium also we can tell. So these are the informations which we can derive from a floral formula. What is the information? Sexuality we can come to know. Symmetry we can come to know. Number of members in the each whorl will come to know. Their relation with the members of the other whorl we can come to know. Means the relation means cohesion and adhesion. Position of the gynoecium, superior, inferior, that also will come to know. What information we cannot derive from a floral formula? So what information which we cannot derive from a floral formula? Placentation, children. Marginal placentation, axial placentation, parietal placentation. In floral formula, there is no hint about placentation. So I am writing here. All this we can derive from the floral formula, but placentation you can't derive from the floral formula. Then next one, nature of anthers, whether they are intros or they are extros, you cannot. And the dehiscence of anthers also, longitudinal dehiscence, porous dehiscence, that also in floral formula you will not come to know. So then next I am writing the nature of anther also you cannot get any clue. Nature of anthers. Then next, dehiscence of anther. How does it split? Longitudinalina, porosa, transversa, that also floral formula will not give you any hint. Then nectaries, whether nectaries are present to attract the insect, nectar glands will be there. Nectaries in floral diagram you can draw, but in floral formula you can't. So no information about nectaries. All this information you can find out from the floral formula. These three things we cannot take from the floral formula. What are the three things? Placentation you cannot. Then nature of the anthers, whether it is intros or extros, and the dehiscence, longitudinal or transverse or porous, that also you cannot give. Nectaries are present or absent also you cannot give. So this is a floral formula. These things we can derive from the floral formula. These things are not predicted in the, we cannot predict this information in the floral formula. For example, if we take a Brassicaceae floral formula, now I'll just write down, later on when we draw we can understand it better. I'll just write down the Brassicaceae floral formula. In Brassicaceae floral formula, Brassicaceae is actinomorphic. So first we will go with actinomorphic symmetry. Now in a proper sequence, what is the sequence? First we have to start with symmetry. After symmetry, we have to tell its sexuality. It is bisexual. So we will use this symbol. Then after that, we have to tell number of calyx. So K will be there 2 plus 2. Not fused separate. So I am keeping those two separate. Then corolla will be there. They are 4. These 2 in one ring, 2 in one ring. But corolla all 4 in one ring. So we use K. Then andrecium, there will be 2 plus 4. 2 in one ring, 4 in another ring. You will come to know. Then gynoecium, superior ovary, so underline. It is bicarpellary syncarpus like this. So children, this is the floral formula for Brassicaceae. This is the floral formula for Brassicaceae. When we draw the floral diagram, then you can understand. Okay. So this is about floral formula. Now let's go to floral diagram. So how to draw floral diagram? Hope you understood the information related to the floral formula. Now we will talk about floral diagram also, and we will see what information we can derive from floral diagram and what information which is not available in floral diagram also. We will discuss that. Now what is floral diagram? It is a diagrammatic representation, or it is a ground plan of the flower in the bud stage. Now what is floral diagram then? So what is floral diagram? It is diagrammatic representation, or it is a ground plan of the flower in the bud stage, right? So let us write down. It is diagrammatic representation, or it is the geometric plan of a flower in the bud stage, or it is the geometric plan of the flower. In which stage? In the open stage or in the bud stage? It is in the bud stage, and we need to take a transverse section. We need to cut it and see. So we need to take observed in the transverse section. We'll write bud stage. When are you observing it? Observed in transverse section with reference to the mother axis. Means the place where stem is there, that represents the mother axis. So with respect to the mother axis, it is with respect to the mother axis. Children, mother axis represents the posterior side. Now, for example, this is a mother axis, the main stem on which the leaf is there and the flower is there. The flower is there. So this side is the mother axis side. This is the mother axis, and this side is the bract side. So what is this side called? This is bract side. What is this side called? This is mother axis side. This is mother axis. This is bract side. Children, bract side represents the anterior end of the flower. Mother axis represents the posterior end. It represents the posterior end of the flower. Now, when we need to draw the floral diagram, how do we symbolize? We are telling it's a transverse section representing in the bud stage. Now, with reference to the mother axis. Okay. Now, what information, or if we have to draw, what symbols we use? If it is actinomorphic, circular symbols we will use. If it is zygomorphic, elliptical symbol we need to use. Okay. So, for example, how do you represent the mother axis? So, the mother axis excuse me, is represented by a thick dot on the top. I am telling that a mother axis is represented by a thick dot on the top. So we will draw one floral diagram here. I am telling that on the top we need to show a dot telling that here is the mother axis. So that means this is a posterior end. Opposite to the mother axis, bract will be there, anterior. So arc symbol, it represents the bract then. Arc symbol represents the bract. It represents the anterior end. It represents the anterior end. So if at all the flower is having bract, Fabaceae members have bract, Liliaceae members have bract, then opposite to this we are going to show the bract. This is mother axis and this is bract. Then next, what do we draw? We need to draw all the 4 whorls. We need to draw all the 4 whorls: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium, right? So, and then I told spherical shape is used. When do we use spherical shape? For if it is radial symmetry, actinomorphic, we use for actinomorphic flower. And we use elliptical shape. Elliptical shape we use for zygomorphic then. So it is used for zygomorphic. Now, cohesion is denoted by fusing the members. Adhesion is denoted by separating the members. So if they are fusing among themselves, cohesion, how do you show it? By fusing the members in the whorl. Cohesion is denoted by fusing the members in the whorl. Now, poly condition, separate condition is denoted by separating them. For example, if you see Brassicaceae, Brassicaceae is actinomorphic. For actinomorphic, I am going to draw circles. Means I am going to draw the circles here. One circle. Another circle. Another circle. Now here, if we have to see the floral formula for Brassicaceae, so I already wrote that the floral formula of, this is the bract and this is the mother axis. Now the floral formulas, we wrote circles, that means it is actinomorphic. Then we told it is bisexual, means it has androecium, gynoecium both. That means actinomorphic, bisexual, this symbol. Calyx, we are going with K. Calyx means K. K, 4 children but in 2 whorls. 2 in one ring and 2 in another ring. So we need to show 2 separate. So here we go. Usually such a type we use for calyx. So here is one calyx. Triangle shape we use for calyx. These 2 in one ring and the other 2 will be here in another ring, right? The other 2 will be here. So here I am drawing another one, and this side is the other one. So here what did we see? We just saw that the calyx are in 2 rings, 2 plus 2, but they are not fused, they are poly. They are poly. That information we could draw. Now that's why we wrote K2 plus 2. Corolla, it is 4 but in one ring only. So I'm just writing C4. That means, and it is crucifer, means like cross symbol the petals are. So here is one petal. For petal half moon shape we use. Here is the second petal. Here is the third petal. And here is the fourth petal. Now what is the estivation also we can make from the floral diagram, correct? So the estivation we can tell it is valvate or imbricate for calyx, valvate estivation for corolla. Then coming to androecium, androecium it is tetradynamous condition. 2 at one length, 4 at one length. 2 at one length, 4 at one length, and it is intros, means they are the same level of the flower. So if we have to draw androecium, so we say that, so 2 androeciums are lateral and 4 androeciums are apical. So 2 at one length and 4 at one length. Then this is, what is this called? A 2 plus 4. We are showing that. And we can see it is dithecous because 2 lobes are there. Then coming to gynoecium. So gynoecium, it is bicarpellary. So superior ovary. G, superior bicarpellary syncarpus. So this is a gynoecium. And we told in the floral formula we cannot derive the placentation, but in floral diagram we can see the placentation. It is parietal placentation. So parietal placentation also we can see here. Parietal placentation also we can see here. This is a floral diagram representation. So we wrote about symmetry also, we wrote about sexuality also, we wrote how many sepals are there, how many petals are there, how many androeciums are there, and we talked about the nature of the anther. It is dithecous, I told, and dehiscence, actually it is longitudinal dehiscence, it splits like this. And then gynoecium position also we are coming to know, superior and bicarpellary syncarpus. Placentation also, which is not derived from formula, in floral diagram we can derive this. So what information we are getting from the floral diagram? Come on, tell me. Various parts, right? So we'll write here. What information we can derive from floral diagram? So we can gather information about various floral parts and their relations. We can gather information about various floral parts and their relationships. So how many sepals are there, how many petals are there, which estivation, valvate estivation, imbricate estivation. So we can derive information about estivation. So I am telling here it is valvate or imbricate estivation of the sepals and valvate estivation of the corolla, that we can tell. Nature of the anthers, monothecous or dithecous, it is dithecous there, that also we can tell. Nature of anthers we can tell. Dehiscence also, longitudinal dehiscence, it splits in longitudinal, that also we can tell. Then placentation also we can tell. See there, it is parietal placentation. Placentation information also we can derive. Nectaries also you can show. With the gynoecium, nectaries are there. With the gynoecium, nectaries are there. In the floral formula we can't, but in floral diagram we can show the nectaries also. All this information we can derive from floral diagram. So what information we cannot derive from floral diagram means position of the ovary. In floral diagram, does it gives any hint about the position of the ovary, superior, inferior or half superior? No. So what information we cannot get is the position of the ovary. So you can get the sexuality, you can get the symmetry basing on the shape, you can tell about the calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, their relationships, everything we can tell, but we cannot tell the position of the ovary, superior, inferior, half superior, half inferior. So this is the information about floral diagram and floral formula. So this is a scientific way of representing. That is the mother axis. The mother axis represents the posterior side, and this is a bract which represents the anterior side. And this is a floral diagram for Brassicaceae. This is a floral diagram for Brassicaceae. Quickly, since Brassicaceae floral diagram is also there, floral formula is also there, quickly let us have a discussion on Brassicaceae, right? So let us see that. So they will ask you which information is available with floral diagram. All this information. Which information is not provided in the floral diagram? This information. Similarly, in floral diagram also we told placentation will not come to know in floral formula. Nature of anthers will not come to know. Dehiscence will not come to know. Nectaries will not come to know by floral formula. Okay. Now, since the floral formula and floral diagram are there for Brassicaceae, let us study about Brassicaceae and understand it. Then we have in NCERT they have given detailed explanation of Fabaceae, Liliaceae and Solanaceae. That we will see it in the next session. So what is this family? It is Brassicaceae. Brassicaceae is also called, it's also called Cruciferae. What's the other name? Since the petals are like crucifer, we call it as Cruciferae, right? Then the common members, it's commonly called mustard family, Brassica, right? It's commonly called mustard family. Now I told you, you have to talk about its habit. They are herbs and shrubs only, rarely trees. Herbs and shrubs are only there. Now come to the vegetative characters. First one is the root. Do you know that it's a dicot? Dicot means it has taproot. Yes, it has taproot. That's it. Now come, we have to talk about the stem. You told it is a herb and shrub. Then it has weak stems. It is herbaceous stems. Woody stems are not there. Then talk about the leaf. It is a dicot leaf. It is a dicot leaf. Usually it has simple leaf. Simple dorsiventral leaf with reticulate venation. So we have given the information about the floral characters. Now come to the reproductive characters. Under reproductive characters, we need to talk about the flower and inflorescence. It is racemose inflorescence. Now coming to the flower. You can see there bisexual. This is the floral diagram of Brassicaceae only. So flower, it is bisexual. Symmetry, I wrote here actinomorphic. Circles we used. So actinomorphic. Talk about calyx. Come on, see there. So calyx, 2 in one ring, 2 in another ring, means 2 plus 2. So 4 sepals are there. I did not fuse them, that means they are polysepalous. So showing valvate or imbricate estivation. Now when we have to write about corolla, 4 members are there in one ring only, they are not fused, it is poly. So 4 petals are there, polypetalous, perfect valvate estivation. It is crucifer, it is cross shaped. Crucifer shaped. Then coming to androecium. How many stamens are there? 6 stamens are there. 4 plus 2. What is it called? Tetradynamous condition. And it is introse. Dithecous means each stamen is having 2 lobes. That is androecium. Coming to gynoecium. See, looking at floral formula, how much information you are able to derive. Looking at gynoecium, you cannot tell the position from the floral formula. You can tell superior ovary. But yeah, we can say it is bicarpellary. So 1, 2 carpels are there. And both the carpels have fused it one circle. So syncarpus. And placentation is parietal placentation. In Brassicaceae, one thing we will tell, bicarpellary unilocular, but because of the formation of false septum called repulum, it becomes bilocular and the seeds are arranged on that repulum, we will tell, right? That's about gynoecium also we have given. So I told, tell its habitat, talk about its vegetative characters, talk about its reproductive characters, then give the floral formula, write the floral diagram and floral formula, then we will see some economic important members of Brassicaceae. Now Brassica is mustard, it's a spice. Brassica campestris means, so we will rub this and we will write it on a clear board. So I think you understood what do you mean by the semi-technical description of a floral family. So we have to list down the various morphological characters. So you have to give the description in brief, simple, scientific language, and then you have to go into the proper sequence. The description starts with habitat, vegetative characters, floral diagram, floral formula, economic importance. Floral formula we have seen. Floral diagram we discussed. So we drawed the floral diagram and floral formula of Brassicaceae. Quickly I am just giving the characters of Brassicaceae, which is called mustard family. We are at the last topic, what is that called? Economic importance. Just see how many members are there in Brassicaceae before ending the session, right? So we will write some examples. So I need some space, so I am erasing this. So what are the members of Brassicaceae means, usually if you take Brassica campestris, Brassica campestris is mustard. From mustard we extract oil. Then next one, if we have to see, Brassica oleracea var capitata. This is a long lengthy name for cabbage. What is it called? Which is a vegetable, cabbage. Again, cauliflower is also here only. It is Brassica, again oleracea, again variety, it is Botrytis, Botrytis. What is it? It is cauliflower. This is also vegetable. From one, mustard oil we are extracting. From second one, it is cabbage, and third one is cauliflower. So these are vegetables. Next, Raphanus sativa was turnip under root modification we have seen. That is also vegetable, comes here only. What is that example? Raphanus sativus. So this is called radish, which is also a vegetable. Then Brassica rapa means turnip. This is also a vegetable. This is also a vegetable. Then Brassica juncea is there, which is a spice. Brassica juncea. It is a spice. Now, the ornamental plant of Brassica is Iberis. Iberis. What is this? Ornamental member in Brassicaceae. There is a medicinal plant which is called Cheiranthus, which is used to treat bronchial disorders. Cheiranthus. So, this is a medicinal plant of the family. This is a medicinal plant. It is used to treat bronchial disorders, respiratory disorders. So, we have seen so many members here. What did we see? So, Brassica campestris, it's a mustard family. Mustard oil we extract, and in seasoning also we use it. Brassica oleracea var capita means it is cabbage, vegetable. Brassica oleracea var Botrytis means it is cauliflower. Brassica rapa means turnip. Raphanus sativus means radish. These are also vegetables. Brassica juncea is a spice. Iberis is an ornamental member, decorative purpose. Then Cheiranthus is a medicinal plant. So with this, we completed today's session. We discussed what is meant by semi-technical description. Then we discussed how to represent in a proper sequence, habit, vegetative character, reproductive character. Then we have to talk about its academic importance, floral diagram, floral formula. We have seen how to represent a floral diagram, how to write a floral formula. Then we took Brassicaceae as a reference family to study, and in that way we studied Brassicaceae also, which is called Cruciferae, which is called mustard family. I think you understood today's lecture. In the next session, we will talk about the first family which is there in NCERT. It is Fabaceae. If you like the lecture, like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.